They say there's truth to every myth. And that is why this post, while having an element of truth to it, is pure propaganda. While it is true the Norwegian team did bring their own food to the World Cup, it's not because they didn't trust American food, it's because they are professional athletes. They do not consume what everybody else who's coming to the US is going to be consuming. They have a strict diet they need to follow in order to stay in shape and perform at their maximum potential. This is especially normal with international competitions. Just about every Olympic team does this when they send their team to a foreign country. But even for those of us who aren't professional athletes, if you're into fitness at all, you know the importance of keeping a consistent, regular diet. And I can prove this because I've been doing martial arts my entire adult life. However, up until recently, I never really trained for competition. I trained for fitness, for fun, and for self-defense. And now that I'm in my mid-30s, I'm about to hit my plateau. I'm trying to push myself the extra mile and go ahead and throw my hat into the ring and compete while I still can. While I'm more than athletic enough to compete on the local MMA circuit, I'm definitely not going to the UFC. And I know I'm not going to make it to the UFC at this age because this is one of my trainers, former UFC fighter AJ Fletcher. A couple weeks ago, I sparred with him, I kicked him in the shin, and I'm the one who got hurt. That's a whole different level I am never going to reach at this point in my life. However, I am already keeping up with other fighters in my weight class at the gym who are already competing. I'm not on their level combative-wise, but athletically speaking, I can keep up because I optimize my diet. That and the fact that I don't skip the conditioning classes. But to give you an idea of what I'm consuming on a daily basis, a whole grain bagel, a protein bar, 4 hard-boiled eggs, and usually an orange, but I'm out of those for now, so it is what it is. And that's just my breakfast. I work a hard labor job during the day, so in order to keep my energy up, I bring a bag of mixed nuts or 2. My typical lunch is a deli meat sandwich with whole grain bread, some type of leafy green, usually spinach, spring mix, or even kale, and cheese. I also usually bring an apple with me, but I'm out of apples for now, but I do add a nice piece of cornbread just for some filler. And I also bring a bottle of kombucha tea to aid with digestion and regulate gut health. For dinner, I usually have a chicken breast, homemade mashed potatoes, even more leafy greens, and some type of mixed veggies, or I just go all in on the beets. And I do mean all in on the beets because I use beet juice in the protein smoothie I make to wash it down with. And on days I really push myself, I have a little secret weapon. You might not be able to tell, but this is red beans and rice. And what's so special about my red beans and rice isn't just that it's a good source of carbs and protein, but the fact that I use smoked ham hock with the bone in and I slow cook it to release all the collagen and cartilage. All of which does absolute wonders for bone and joint recovery. In fact, slow cooked red beans and rice with ham hocks is my go-to advice for people who are trying to get into dieting and exercise. Because if you do it right, you don't have to sacrifice flavor and taste. Because you don't actually need to sacrifice good old Southern Louisiana cooking as long as you balance your diet out. So yeah, Norway did bring their own food, but it has nothing to do with the quality of food here in the US and everything to do with the fact that they are professional athletes with very specific dietary needs.